What's up, everybody? This is Tech G back with another video to help you successfully pass the CompTIA 1201 certification exams. So let's get into it. Networking. This can sound like one of those complicated, geeky topics that only IT pros or your office's Wi-Fi fixer really care about. But in reality, it's something all of us depend upon every single day. From streaming Netflix and FaceTiming your grandma to setting up a home office or gaming online with your friends, you are relying on a mix of internet connection types and network types. And if you're studying for the CompTIA A+ 1201 exam, knowing how to compare and contrast these is mission critical. But don't worry, I'm going to break it all down for you. So let's go. All right, so let's talk about internet connection types. So think of the internet like a massive ocean of content, and your internet connection type is the boat that gets you there. And depending upon what type of boat you're using, your speed, reliability, and price can vary a lot. So let's look at some of the most common types of internet connections. The first one is satellite internet. So if you've ever lived in the middle of nowhere and you still want to watch Netflix, then satellite is your friend. Now, how does this work? Well, data is beamed to and from satellites that orbit the Earth. And where this connection shines the most is it is useful in rural or remote areas where wired connections just aren't practical. And the pros of satellite internet are it is available almost everywhere on the world, and it does not rely on phone or cable lines. Now, the cons, it has high latency, which is also known as lag, which means it could take time for data to travel back and forth through space. Also, weather can mess things up, and it does have slower speeds compared to other options. However, satellite internet is good for email, basic web browsing, and remote access, but it is not great for real-time gaming or video conferencing. All right, next we have fiber internet, and this is the Lamborghini of internet connections. And how it works is it uses thin strands of glass or plastic to transmit data as light. And where it shines is it is most useful in urban and suburban areas with modern infrastructure. Its pros, it offers super fast download and upload speeds, low latency, and it is extremely reliable. Its cons, it's not available everywhere, and it can be pricier, but it is worth it if you need speed. And this is good for streaming 4K content, gaming, remote work, cloud backups, and pretty much anything. And next we have cable internet. Now, this one's been the bread and butter of the internet for years, and how it works is it uses the same coaxial cable that brings cable TV into your home. And where it shines, it is good in suburban and urban neighborhoods. Its pros, it's widely available, and it is faster than DSL and satellite. Its cons, well, it has a shared bandwidth, meaning if your neighbors are on the internet at the same time you are at 5 o'clock in the evening, then guess what? Your internet's probably going to slow down. And it also has slightly more latency than fiber. However, it is good for families, small offices, and gamers who cannot afford or get fiber. Then there's DSL, or digital subscriber line. Now, this is old school, but it's still around. And how it works is the internet runs over your traditional telephone lines. And where this shines is great for areas where cable or fiber internet connections are not an option. So think of people that live out in the sticks somewhere. And the pros are it's more stable than satellite and it's typically cheaper. However, when it comes to the cons, the speeds can drop the further you are away from the provider's central office or your internet service provider, and it does generally have overall slower speeds compared to cable and fiber internet. Now, this is good for light web browsing, email, and working from home if demands are low. Next is cellular internet connection, and this is your smartphone's internet connection. And how it works is your smartphone connects to a mobile tower using LTE or 5G. And where this shines the most is when you are on the go in areas with good cell coverage. Its pros are it's portable and flexible, and it can support fast internet speeds with 5G. Its cons, it does have data caps, the signal quality can vary, and it can be expensive. Now, this is good for travelers, mobile hotspots, or can serve as backup internet for remote work. And then we have what is called WISP, or wireless internet service provider. So think of this like local internet companies that are using radio signals. And how it works is they use antennas that are on towers to beam internet to homes with line of sight. Where this shines the most, it works really well in rural and semi-rural areas without good wired options. Its pros, it does not need cable or phone lines, and it's usually faster than satellite and DSL in remote areas. Its cons, this does require a clear line of sight to the tower power, and weather and interference, this can affect your services. However, this is great for rural users that are looking for a better option than satellite or DSL. All right, so here is a quick comparison chart comparing satellite, fiber, cable, DSL, cellular, and WISP. So go ahead and take a screenshot and get this in your life so you can pass this test with flying colors. All right, so now that we've covered how we get to the internet, let's talk about how we share it and connect it with our gadgets. And that's where network types come in. So different networks, they serve different purposes. Some are tiny, like the ones between your phone and your smartwatch, and others are massive. So you can think of the worldwide banking systems. So let's go ahead and break it all down. First, we have what is called a local area network, and that is these little circles right here. And basically, a local area network, this is your everyday go-to home or office network. And it's a network that connects devices in a limited area, like a house, apartment, school, or an office building. And examples could be, this is your Wi-Fi at home that is connecting your laptops, smart TVs, and phones, or a small office setup with shared printers and storage. Now, its pros are a LAN is fast, it is secure when it is managed well, and it is easy to control. Its cons, well, it is limited to a specific location. And once again, this is good for homes, small businesses, and classrooms. And then we have what is called a WAN, or a wide area network. And this is a network that spans large geographic areas like cities, states, or even countries. And the internet, this is the biggest WAN out there. And then you also have corporate branch offices that are connected across the globe. Those are also considered wide area networks. And the pros are this allows communication over long distances. However, it is complex to set up. It has more security concerns, and it can be expensive. But once again, this is good for enterprises, internet service providers, and anyone needing global reach by way of the internet. All right, so the next network connection we have is called a PAN, or a personal area network, and this is your own mini network. So this is a very small network that is typically just a few feet wide. So you could think of your smartphone that's connected to your Bluetooth earbuds, or your laptop that's syncing with your smartwatch. And the pros are it's super portable and it doesn't need much infrastructure. However, it offers very short range and it can be interfered with easily. And once again, these are good for personal gadgets that need to talk to each other. And then you have what is called a MAN, or a metropolitan area network. And this is a network that spans a city or a large campus. So think of citywide Wi-Fi in public parks or libraries, or college campuses with buildings that are networked together. And this is great for organizations that are spread out across a city, but it is complex to set up, and this does require coordination between the providers. And once again, this is good for universities, city governments, and large hospitals. And then you have what is called a SAN, or a storage area network. And this is a high-speed network that gives multiple devices access to block-level storage, where you can store massive amounts of data. So think of data centers, or think of enterprises running big applications like banking enterprises, e-commerce, or cloud platforms. And the pros are it offers fast, centralized data access, and it improves backup and disaster recovery. However, a SAN can be expensive and complex to set up, and it does require skilled IT staff. And once again, this is good for companies that need high performance storage solutions. And then we have what is called a wireless LAN, or a wireless local area network. And this is a local network that connects devices wirelessly, usually through Wi-Fi. So think of your home Wi-Fi or the Wi-Fi at the coffee shop. And the pros are there are no cables that you have to attach. And this is easier for users to move around. However, this can be less secure than a wired network, and the signal strength depends upon walls, distance, and interference. And once again, this is good for homes, businesses, cafes, schools, and pretty much everywhere. And here is another comparison chart for network types when it comes to LANs, WANs, PANs, MANs, SANs, and wireless LANs. So go ahead and take a screenshot and get this in your life so you can pass this test with flying colors. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap all this up. So whether you're trying to fix your grandma's Wi-Fi, you're preparing for your first IT job, or you just want to know how the internet works, understanding connection types and network types, this gives you an edge. And if you're sitting for the CompTIA A+ 1201 exam, this knowledge isn't just nice to know, it is you must know it. So here's a quick review of the big takeaways. Satellite. This is your rural buddy. It's slow, but it is available everywhere. Fiber is king because it's fast and reliable, but it's not available everywhere. You got cable and DSL, they're still hanging on, and these are solid mid-range options. You got cellular and wireless ISPs. These are your mobile and rural heroes. You got LANs and wireless LANs. These rule your home and small offices. You got wide area networks. They essentially rule the world. You got PANs, they're used for personal gadgets. MANs, these can scale to cities and campuses. And then you got SANs or storage area networks, where they power serious data storage for businesses. So whether you're a future tech pro or you're just a family IT guy, knowing how we connect, this is the first step to staying connected. So with that being said, let's do some check on learning. So our first question is, which internet connection type is best suited for users in remote areas where traditional wired options are unavailable, but suffers from high latency? Would this be satellite, fiber, DSL, or cable? And the correct answer is this will be satellite. So satellite internet, this is ideal for rural or remote areas since it does not require physical cables, but it often has high latency because data must travel to and from space. Next question. Which network type would most likely be used to connect devices like a smartphone, smartwatch, and wireless earbuds within a few feet of each other? Would this be a LAN, a WAN, a PAN, or a SAN? And the correct answer is this will be a PAN, or a personal area network. So a PAN, this connects devices in close proximity, often via Bluetooth or USB, making it perfect for syncing personal devices like wearables and smartphones. And our final question is, what is a key difference between a LAN and a WAN? Is it a LAN covers a wide geographic area, where a WAN is limited to a single building? Is it a WAN typically connects multiple LANs across large distances, whereas a LAN is limited to local areas like a home or office? Is it a LAN uses satellite connections while a WAN uses only wired connections? Or is it a WAN is faster and cheaper to implement than a LAN? And the correct answer is a WAN typically connects multiple LANs across different distances, whereas a LAN is limited to a local area like a home or office. So a local area network connects devices within a small area, while a wide area network spans larger distances and interconnects multiple LANs, such as branch offices or global networks.